What might happen on Wall Street today? There is tremendous concern how Americans will react to the multiple attacks on our country, but a number of key investors are trying to make it clear to those about you that may not be all that optimistic that they plan to buy back lots of their own stock to show you the level of faith they have in the value of their companies. Workers in New York are just beginning to stream into this area. It is difficult to get here. You see this debris field now, some 22,000 tons of rubble already removed. The rescue effort painstaking. In some cases, workers are not only digging but using their own hands to deliver small particles of debris into buckets, and then that is in turn transferred to vehicles. The beautiful shot, of course, of the Statue of Liberty looking north towards Manhattan skyline, a skyline that has been so severely altered by last Tuesday's attacks. Now, the difficulty for workers this morning is that there are a number of police checkpoints they must go through before they even get close to the perimeter of their offices. So it will not be easy for them. Many companies offering a paper face mask for their employees to wear to work today. Many workers defiantly coming to work today, waving flags in their hands, showing the resolve of the workforce here to show that America is on the mend and New York is rebuilding. Let me really quickly check in with some of the folks you're going to see throughout the morning. John King joins us again from near the Capitol in Washington. Good morning again, John. Also with us this morning, Miles O'Brien from Atlanta, who will bring us up to date on all the investigative leads that we are getting right now. And Bill Hemmer, of course, will be stationed outside the New York Stock Exchange all morning to give us a better idea of how workers are reacting to their inalterably changed city. Let's first start off with Miles, who's going to give us the latest on the investigation. Miles? Good morning, Paula. Here are the latest developments in America's new war. A high-level Pakistani delegation is now in Afghanistan, telling Afghans they have 72 hours to hand over Osama bin Laden or face the wrath of the United States. U.S. stock markets reopened this morning, as Paula was telling you, after the longest pause in trading since the Great Depression. President Bush says it is time for Americans to go back to work. 2 new arrest warrants have been issued for so-called material witnesses in last Tuesday's terrorist attacks. 2 other witnesses already in custody. And 4,957 people are still missing in New York City, where the World Trade Center was destroyed by the suicide hijackers. 190 people are now confirmed dead. At the Pentagon, 186 people are missing in that hijack attack. 2 deaths have been confirmed there. Let's send it back to Paula in New York. Okay, thanks so much, Miles. We had promised you an interview with Victor Lager earlier. We were having some problem with audio, but we've gotten that all to work. Victor Lager was one of the first uniformed police officers to arrive on the scene. He unfortunately has suffered a personal toll, as have most people in this country. He lost his partner that day. Victor, I really appreciate you being with us this morning. I understand why you do not want to be up here with me. I am told that it's just too painful for you to see any reminder of what you've been through. Again, thanks for allowing us to share your story with our audience. Can you describe to us where you were when you got the first call on Tuesday?
We were on 7th Avenue South and Grove Street, watching the first plane fly southbound.
And did you think anything was unusual at that time?
Oh, yes. Me and my partner thought that was very unusual to see such a large aircraft fly so low. And we just hoped it would pass all the buildings.
What did you see next?
We saw the plane fly directly southbound right into One World Trade Center, and we just couldn't believe what we saw.
So you saw the actual explosion then?
Yeah.
And at that point, did your instincts guide you straight downtown?
Straight down there. I was driving, my partner was revving me on, and we got there within a minute or so. Pulled up right in front of VC Street, in front of 7 World Trade Center. And describe to us what you saw when you got there. There was debris flying all over the place from the initial impact. There was people already fleeing the building. We went in through 7 World Trade Center. There was some glass doors. I remember going downstairs into a sub-basement mall, and there were people already fleeing from One World Trade Center through the lobby into the mall, and as well as people coming up from the PAD train. We're hearing the screams and the smoke starting to fill up the mall, and we're also beginning to panic.
We're looking at some pictures now of the evacuation after the first tower collapsed. Even before that, there was a state of panic. Describe to us how people treated each other as they were trying to flee the building before it collapsed.
Everybody was in fear of their life. It was just complete chaos. We tried to keep some order. We tried to keep people calm. It didn't seem to help. The more the smoke filled into the mall, the more the smoke filled into 2 World Trade Center, the more panicky people got, and it was even harder to control them. People were getting trampled. People were getting severely hurt. People were having heart attacks and complaining of chest pains. People just didn't even move out of fear.
Is it true that people actually, in this state of panic, knocked over folks in wheelchairs?
Yes. I don't think anybody at this stage was truly in control of their emotional state. I think at that point they triggered a survival instinct, and their only main concern was to get out.
You and your partner had worked together for about 10 years. At what point in this process did you become separated?
Immediately when we went into the mall, in the sub-basement that connects the 2 towers, there were people injured already. And I was in there with 2 Port Authority police and a transit cop, and we were picking people up. Immediately, I would say a minute after that, 2 minutes after that, 4 firefighters ran in. And one of the firefighters had about 4 or 5 tanks on his back, and my partner immediately, it was his instinct to grab these tanks and help this fireman with him. And he turned over to me and he said to me, you know, Vic, you stay with these people here. You have a lot of help. I'm going to help these guys. They need some more help. I'm going to go upstairs and see if we can save some people, and I'm going to run down here and meet you. And of course, I totally disagreed, and I stated, you know, I didn't want him to go in there. I said he had no fire protection. He had no mask to breathe. The smoke was unbelievably thick coming out of One World Trade, and I was really concerned. And he had no fear, and he told me he'd be all right, and that FD was assuring him that the building was stable. At that point, we just thought it was an accident, and he seemed pretty calm.